Hey, Assalamualaikum everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. Manahil Khanam Durrani is again here, but with another interesting topic named gene therapy. So let's start it. First of all, let me tell you that what is gene therapy. So gene therapy is the introduction of genes into existing cells to prevent or cure a wide range of diseases. It is a technique for correcting defective genes which are responsible for disease development. If we talk about the history of gene therapy, then the first approved gene therapy ever experiment occurred on September 14, 1990 in United States when Ashanti De Silva was treated for ADA kit. And ADA means adenosine deaminase deficiency. It is an inherited disorder that damages the immune system and causes severe combined immunodeficiency syndrome. People with SCID basically lacks virtually all immune protections for bacteria, viruses and fungi. Next, we can say that gene therapy offers the possibility of a permanent cure for any of more than 10,000 human diseases caused by a defect in single disease. Among these diseases, the hemophilia represents an ideal target. We all know that hemophilia is a genetic disorder and it is caused by a mutation or change in one of the genes that provide instruction to making the clotting factor proteins needed to form a blood clot. And its gene therapy, the abnormal clotting factor is reduced or even eliminated. So, studies in both animals and humans have provided evidence that it is a permanent cure for hemophilia is within reach now. Next, we are discussing here that what are types of gene therapy. So basically there are two types of gene therapy: somatic cell gene therapy and germline gene therapy. In somatic cell gene therapy, there is a difference between somatic cell gene therapy and germline gene therapies. In somatic cell gene therapy, therapeutic genes transferred into the somatic cells. It doesn't involve any germ cells, while in germline gene therapy, therapeutic genes transferred into the germ cells. Somatic cell gene therapy include the introduction of genes into bone marrow cells like blood cells, skin cells, and etc. While in germline gene therapy, genes introduced into the eggs and sperm. As in somatic cell gene therapy, there is no germ cells involved, so they will not inherit it in later generation. While in germline gene therapy, it is heritable and passed on to later generation. At the present, we can say that all research is directed to corrected gene defect in somatic cells, while for safety, ethical and technical reasons, germline gene therapy is not being attempted at the present. So therefore, somatic gene therapy is much more attempted nowadays. Approaches in gene therapy. The gene therapy technique usually involves the insertion of functional copies of a gene into a person's cell by the way of a vector. And these vectors deliver the functional gene into the patient's cell, either in vivo or ex vivo. In vivo, we know that in vivo means inside the living organism or inside the body of living organism, while ex vivo means that outside the body. So in vivo gene therapy, direct delivery genes into the cells of a particular tissue in the body, but it also includes vectors. While in ex vivo gene therapy, the transfer of genes and cultured cells and reinsertion. Ex vivo is undertaken remotely and more safely since it is outside the body, so it is an emerging therapeutic strategy. Approaches in gene therapy. In this figure, in vivo gene therapy and ex vivo gene therapy both are explained. So let's check it out. In vivo gene therapy, you can see it is the therapeutic cloned gene, and this therapeutic gene is packaged into a delivery vehicle such as retrovirus. Here you can see retrovirus, and it is directly injected into the patient target organ. For example, here in this figure you can see liver. While if we talk about ex vivo gene therapy, then therapeutic gene is packaged into the delivery vehicle such as retrovirus and introduced into the cells. But first of all, cells are taken from the adult stem cells. Adult stem cells are isolated and propagated into the laboratory. And then after the process occurred in laboratory, then the genetically modified cells are reintroduced into the patient. This is ex vivo gene therapy outside the body in a laboratory, while in vivo gene therapy, all processes occur directly into the body of human being or other animal. If we summarized ex vivo gene therapy process in 4 steps, then it would be: first of all, isolate cells with genetic defect from a patient. Next, grow the cells in unique culture. Then introduce the therapeutic genes. Select genetically corrected cells and grow in the laboratory. And last but not the least, transplant the modified cells into the patient. Ex vivo gene therapy. First gene ex vivo gene therapy is to correct deficiency of enzyme adenosine deaminase ADA. It was performed on a 4-year-old girl, Ashanti De Silva, which was suffering from SCID, severe combined immunodeficiency syndrome, and caused due to defect in gene coding for ADA. Deoxyadenosine accumulate and destroys T lymphocyte, which disrupts immunity, suffer from infectious disease, and die at young age ultimately. In this figure, there is complete process of ex vivo gene therapy. First of all, this is the bacterium carrying plasmid with cloned gene, human ADA gene. This is cloned human ADA gene. Then this is genetically disabled retrovirus. It means that its viral activity is disabled and it can't harm the can't harm the person. Next thing is cloned ADA gene is incorporated into the virus. These are the T cells with disabled ADA genes isolated from SCID patients, and then these retrovirus infect T cells, transfer ADA genes into the cells. In next step, you can see that cells are grown in culture to ensure ADA gene is active. When it is ensured that ADA gene is active, then it is transferred into human body. It is transferred into living organism in which their genetically altered cells are re-implanted to produce ADA. Next is in vivo gene therapy. So in vivo gene therapy is direct delivery of therapeutic genes into target cells into patients of body. It is carried out by viral or non-viral vector system. It can be the only possible option in patients where individual cells cannot be cultured in vitro. It means insufficient number is that brain cells. In vivo gene transfer is necessary when cultured cells cannot be reimplanted in patients effectively. In patients with cystic fibrosis, a protein called cystic fibrosis transmembrane regulator CFTR is absent due to a genetic defect. In the absence of CFTR, chloride ions concentrate within the cells and draws water from the surrounding. It can lead to the accumulation of sticky mucus in respiratory tract and lungs. So this cystic fibrosis is treated by in vivo replacement of defective gene by adenovirus vector. Cystic fibrosis is a good candidate for gene therapy based treatment. Here you can see that this is the normal human gene cloned in bacterium, and this normal gene DNA sequence inserted into a harmless virus AAV, which is vector, which is working as vector here, and then virus dripped into the lungs through a thin tubes inserted into the nose. Then this viral vector is inserted into the human body, and after entering in the lung cells, virus enter lung cells nucleus and normal gene DNA sequence inserted into the lung cell DNA by viruses. After division, cells now work with normally genes function. This is in vivo gene therapy. Now, if we talk about vectors in gene therapy, which you can previously you check that these vectors are very necessary in gene therapy. So to transfer the desired gene into target cell, a carrier is required. Such vehicles of gene delivery is known as vector, and it is required in both ex vivo and in vivo gene therapy. Basically, there are two main classes of vectors in gene therapy. There are viral vectors and non-viral vectors. Viral vector. First viral vector which I am discussing here is retrovirus vector system. A retrovirus vector system consists of a proviral sequences that can accommodate the genes of interest to allow incorporation of both into target cells. So the recombinant retroviruses have the ability to integrate into the host genome into a stable function. They can carry a DNA of size less than 3.4 kilobytes, and then replication defective virus particles. target cell dividing. So retrovirus vector system is commonly used in many techniques of in vivo and ex vivo gene therapy. Next is adenovirus vector system. Adenovirus with a DNA genome is a good vector, and it targets non-dividing human cell, is that common cold and adenovirus. Then question arises here that why adenovirus vector system is a good vector. Adenovirus vectors are considered as excellent vectors for detective target antigens to mammalian hosts because of their capability to induce both to innate and adaptive immune responses. Now, next are adeno-associated virus vectors. It is a human virus that can integrate into the chromosome 19, and it is a single-stranded, non-pathogenic small DNA virus. Sometimes some vectors also causes diseases as their viral ability is not disabled completely. But adeno-associated virus is non-pathogenic small DNA virus, so it enters host cell, become double-stranded, and get integrated into chromosome. While you talk about herpes simplex virus vectors, so viruses which have naturally tendency to infect a particular type of cell, so they infect and persist in nervous system. Now I will talk about non-viral vector system. So first of all, its class is pure DNA construct, which is used as direct introduction of pure DNA construct into a target tissue. Efficiency of DNA uptake by the cell and expression are rather low. Consequently, the large quantities of DNA have to be injected periodically. Next is lipoplexes. Lipoplexes are basically lipid and DNA complexes in which DNA constructs surrounded by artificial and lipid layer. Most of it get degraded by lysosomes. Next is DNA molecular conjugates, which are commonly used as synthetic conjugate as poly-L-lysine bound to specific target cell receptor. Therapeutic DNA is then made to combine with the conjugate to form a complex, and it avoids lysosomal breakdown of DNA. Next thing is human artificial chromosome. It is a good one non-viral vector as it can carry a large DNA with one or more therapeutic genes with regulatory element. Last but not the least, I can say that gene therapy is a future. It was all about the types and vectors of gene therapy. Hope you guys understand it. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like, share, and obviously subscribe.